There he is.
Oh, New York is hedging its bets. They are trying so hard to make sure that they send a message to little old us to not try them. Because that first-degree murder charge for Luigi with the domestic terrorism attached to it, that is really hard to prove. First-degree murder is really hard to prove. That's why a lot of people will settle into a second-degree charge because they feel more confident that they can get them on that. And also in New York, those first-degree charges very specific about who usually gets charged with that for who they've, unalived. And this is all about sending a message to us. Because even if this might be really hard for them to win, they sure as hell are going to try to, because they want to make sure that none of us try it ever again. They want us to know, this your hero? We're going to put him away. I think it's going to have the opposite effect. I think more and more we are seeing just where they put their energy, and we're not having it anymore. Because the only thing that we need to know about today is that there was a school shooting that barely made a blip on the radar in the news because we're so used to it. And we should have known when they were okay with little kids being gone that it was over and shut. But the United Healthcare, that's been in the news cycle for a really long time. So much so that you got the governor in New York having little feel-good Zoom parties for them, saying oh, if you need help, we got you, and we're going to get them, we're going to crack down. We are seeing where they put emphasis on life and who the rest of us out here can do whatever. They don't care about us. They know who they are protecting. Anytime they say oh, this is going to hurt the economy, it is about rich people. There's a top and a bottom, and that clarity is becoming more clear for people. And we're not going back.
All right. They have an update. You guys ain't gonna believe this. They have an update on Luigi Mangione's case. If you don't know who Luigi was, if you don't remember, he was allegedly the guy that unalived the United Healthcare CEO. But you guys ain't gonna believe this shit. A New York State judge dropped terrorism charges against Luigi Mangione. So they dropped all charges against Luigi. And I think he's about to go free. Let's pray that he goes free. Welcome home, my boy.
I told y'all. Our boy Luigi had the schmerism charges thrown out by a state court judge today. As I told you, those charges were never gonna stick ever. If they went to trial with it, he would have beat it without a thought. And I've also told you he's gonna beat the federal case because there is no evidence for the predicate offenses of stalking, which are the jurisdictional hook to charge him with that. So when the jury goes to the deliberations and says he's not guilty of stalking, that's the end of the case. They don't consider that because they don't have jurisdiction, okay? So, he's facing 20 to 25 to life. That's what the ultimate reality is in this state case. Yes, he's still got to beat the federal case. Karen's still got to get her game up. But he's going to get out. Like I told y'all, y'all haters, he's going down. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. And our boy looking a little beefier, he's trying to look like your boy and shit, we can try to get our weight up. But it's a good day, man. I'll look at everything else that went on in here and do a video on that, but let's go, man.
Did he just beat the case? All his state charges just disappeared. All his state charges have been dropped. How do you feel about this? Because I like to know what the people feeling. So how do you feel about all his state charges being dropped? Now I think he only just have to deal with the federal side. And for the ones that don't know, the state charges were dropped for insufficient evidence. So basically, they didn't have no evidence on him when it came to the state. So all those charges were dropped. So how do you feel about this, and how do you think the outcome will be? Do you think, since he basically beat the state charges, do you think he will also beat the federal charges? Or you think the federal is going to go ahead and do their job and handle him? What do you think? I'm just curious on what everybody else think.
How you feeling, Luke?
What do we want? Free Luigi! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Free Luigi! When do we want it? Now! What do we want?
So guys, now that you guys have seen the glimpse of what we're talking about today, it's just interesting to think about it and to talk about it as well. But we're gonna dissect this matter step by step. So as you've heard, there is a new development in the Luigi Mangione murder case, and the first degree charge and also domestic terrorism has been dropped by a New York judge. This has sparked a lot of outrage as well as celebratory mood to other people on the internet, and there has been different reception. Some are mad for those people who are celebrating for those charges being dropped. Others feel like it's the right thing to do. I'm gonna give my opinion right about now and also at the end of the video, because we've not done with all the speakers today. So where do we start from? There's a lady who started the video and was saying that those two charges that have been dropped from the very end were bullshit, and I even call it that. It was bullshit from the start. Like, here is a video from 2024. This person was already clearly saying that these charges were not adding up. What Luigi Mangione did was point blank allegedly murder, and if you've seen the video, I mean, there was definitely an intent, but that intent was not expressed. I mean, it was not meant to influence any other person to go and do the same thing. It seems like a personal thing, more of like, would we say revenge or vengeance? I leave that for you to draw the line between vengeance and revenge. But if you see the video, it's point blank someone who was bitter from the actions that this CEO had done to them, or maybe a proxy to what they had done. Was it wrong? Absolutely wrong. And I call out some people who think that is right, or people who think they deserve it. From the reception of the judging, I mean, so many people are celebrating, and some people are doing so just because they called out this case was bullshit. That is completely right for them to do so, but most of them again are delusion to a point where they feel like Luigi Mangione, just because of the aesthetic or just because of the look of it, the way he looks. Of course, this guy is handsome according to ladies and also some gentlemen. They feel this guy is so handsome to a point that they don't want this person to be locked up or maybe pushed to a death sentence if there is any in New York, which I really think it's not there. Maybe because of the federal charge, maybe it will lead to that. But yeah, most people don't want this person to be locked up. Some also feel like he stood for the poor, those people who could not express themselves. Health insurance for the longest has been fucking up people in America, and they think Luigi Mangione did justice. But we all know overall street justice is not the way to go. Some people would conflict with me, but I don't think that's the way to go. The thing is, America is so divided right now. The society is torn in between what are the right morals or what are morals. Are morals being overshadowed by what people think or people say is freedom of expression, or more like freedom of speech? Is hate overshadowing what morals are? Or how do we define morals in the American society? This question needs a lot of thinking and it needs a lot of perspective, and it's at this point that I urge you to listen to even more opinions that are coming in, and then thereafter we're gonna look at what these people have said and try to understand, are there morals anymore in the American society?
Just because I don't post Luigi every day doesn't mean I don't daydream about Luigi every day. As they should drop those 2 charges against him. Not drop all of them, because again, he was with me the night of December 4th, 2024. Let him go. You'll be free soon.
Another bad example of leftist extremist behavior. And of course, a New York judge just dismissed terrorist charges on Luigi Mangione's case. But the fact still remains one, no matter how upset or dissatisfied you are with anything, any policy, any health issue, any behavior, anything, assassinating someone is not proper. And that's what Luigi Mangione did. He assassinated the head of the insurance company. Again, murder of a father, family, leaving back a wife and kids. And the fact that you have people celebrating this is just bad behavior. Watch this.
There has been an update in the Luigi Mangione case, and it's a big one. For those of you who might have forgotten, Luigi was charged with multiple crimes, and 2 of them were actually terrorism charges. One of them was first-degree murder as an act of terrorism, and the second one was second-degree murder as a crime of terrorism. Well, this morning, a New York judge dismissed the terrorism charges, finding them legally insufficient. In other words, the evidence did not support the required elements under the law, especially intent to intimidate or coerce a civilian population. But he's obviously not off the hook because he still faces state charges for second-degree murder as well as federal murder and related charges. If convicted, he could get life in prison, and while the state court does not allow for the death penalty, it's still on the table for the federal charges. His attorney did file a motion in federal courts asking that prosecutors be barred from seeking the death penalty, but no decision has been made on that yet.
It's already been a very busy Tuesday morning. Currently, a New York judge has dismissed the 2 state-level terrorism charges against Luigi Mangione, the alleged shooter in the death of the United Healthcare CEO, as well as the first-degree murder charges. Kash Patel is in a hearing answering questions about his handling or mishandling of the FBI, and there are rumors swirling that Dan Bongino is about to get chopped. And President Trump is answering questions before his second state visit to the UK, where people have printed out a massive poster of he and Jeffrey Epstein to be seen right outside of Windsor Court. Now, there are also rumors that a deal has been reached in the TikTok ban, and President Trump says that he's going to confirm it Friday with President Xi. However, the ban is supposed to go into effect tomorrow, September 17th. And you guys, I would not put it past this administration or anyone in our government to make us go dark again. And I think that this is something that should be really paid attention to while we are anticipating President Trump's address to the UN General Assembly on September 23rd, as TikTok is a big communication tool for a lot of us. So I'm just kind of worried that we might go dark tomorrow, regardless of the framework for a deal being reached. What do you guys think? You think they're just going to roll it over, or do you think we're going to go dark tomorrow? I don't know, but everything going on, God bless America.
All right, so Luigi Mangione, the judge decided today to dismiss 2 charges against him. Big news. Everyone's like, wait, what? How did that happen? And I just want to read you what these 2 charges are that he dismissed. Counts 1 and 2, charging the defendant with murder in the first degree in furtherance of an act of terrorism, and murder in the second degree as a crime of terrorism, both dismissed as legally insufficient. So the judge put down this 12-page decision on this. Just to be clear, he is still facing a charge, second-degree murder. That does have the possibility of life in prison.
And that's just the New York charges. Let's remember, he's still facing the federal charges. He's still facing the charge in Pennsylvania.
And in these documents, which I went through so you don't have to, the judge gives a pretty good explanation as to why he made this decision. Basically saying with those 2 particular charges, there has to be this intention to intimidate or coerce a civilian population, influence the policy of a unit of government by intimidation or coercion, affect the conduct of a unit of government by murder, assassination, or kidnapping. Both of those charges needed to have that proven. The judge found that no evidence presented that the defendant made any demands of government or sought any particular governmental policy change, instead saying that the goal, he writes it out here very clearly, appeared to be to draw public attention to the perceived problems in the healthcare industry. And he writes, his goal is to spread a message and win public support about everything wrong with our health system. Therefore, the court finds that the people failed to establish an intent to influence or affect government. Now, all these other pages after that, until you get to page 12, are like previous case law, like a lot of legal stuff that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to most of us. But the big thing here is he's still facing a second-degree murder charge, possibility of life in prison. Next hearings back in court, December 1st.
So guys, as you've heard, it's not over until it's over. People celebrating the first degree murder charge being dropped and also domestic terrorism charges dropped, but they don't realize that the second degree murder is still on the books, and also the federal government is pursuing an even stricter sentence for this guy Luigi Mangione. So there is a lot to unpack. I just want to go back to the guy who said that Luigi, welcome back home. Luigi is never coming home, bro. Maybe in the court of the public opinion, he might be found innocent. Also, as we're talking, obviously we have to consider the fact that Luigi Mangione is innocent until found guilty. I just want to compare this case a little bit to the case of Charlie Kirk assassination or Charlie Kirk murder, where some people felt like it was funny to them, or they felt like it was the right thing to go on the internet and celebrate and also laugh at it, but others feel like that was more of people throwing their morals away. That is why in my first commentary I was telling you guys, like, has America lost its morality, or should morality be having a new definition in this new day and age? So we're gonna start by breaking this down from the terrorism and domestic charge being dropped. Like I called it before, I really do think those charges were trash from the beginning. The argument that the prosecutor or the prosecution made was not substantial, and it needed a lot of evidence. For this criminal charge, we all know it's not a balance of probability, it's all about proving beyond reasonable doubt. Proving beyond reasonable doubt means that you have to present solid evidence towards the accused or the plaintiff, and it seems like the prosecution did not make that argument. It might also mean that the prosecution in this case may just be not be prepared at the end of it all, because what they presented being thrown out of the court, it means that a lot of assignment or most of the assignment was not done properly, or maybe it was just done hastily. I just feel like the prosecutors didn't do a lot, and for people celebrating Luigi Mangione, they feel like what Luigi Mangione did wasn't bad. As I mentioned before, healthcare system in America has been fucked for the longest. People are paying a lot in terms of premiums in order to get this health insurance, and you guys know the health system in America, man. You just get sick from a simple disease or a simple ailment, you go to hospital, you're gonna be charged thousands of dollars. In order to prevent this, people have health insurance, but when you send your bill to the insurance company and you file a claim, these people are straight up going to throw your claim, giving you some excuses, telling you this is not according to the terms and conditions of the policy. This makes people angry. It has been allegedly claimed that this guy, I don't know, it was a family member. There's some linked case that made this guy angry, where it seems like they were denied access to healthcare by the insurance company of the said CEO, who was cold-bloodedly shot by this guy, or these are allegedly. Remember, Luigi Mangione is still innocent until proven guilty. According to the court of public opinion, people feel like Luigi Mangione just did the right thing, standing up for the poor and making the rich accountable. And also people feeling like the jurors or the jury and also the judge might be standing up for the people and not taking in what the rich people feel like they do to others and cry foul. And don't get me wrong, bro, from the start of it all, whoever shot that person, I cannot cheer for that at all. Street justice is not the right way to go. So you have to take that in mind. I'm just trying to analyze what people are thinking or what the court of public opinion is trying to say here. Is this case going to be thrown away? I think it's absolutely not. And I think it's gonna take the longest. As you can see, Luigi Mangione just feels like he's tired, and even the mentioning of the next case, I think it's next year, sitting down from September to maybe let's say January or February next year, it's gonna take a toll, especially to this guy's mentals. And however much people are celebrating and this guy is not celebrating, either he's been told by his legal defense team not to show emotions, or this guy is just overall tired and he's just waiting for what next. I mean, if you go and interview some people who have already been prosecuted, they will tell you it's better for them to just stay in behind bars than to go through that process of being prosecuted. It takes a toll on them. Now, some people are asking themselves, is the New York judge losing the plot? Well, this is based on how people are saying that because, you know, New York State is liberal, of course, the more liberals there are progressives, and some cases that you'd think that it's right away straightforward, you'd see just judges just throwing them under the bus, or maybe giving out softer terms to criminals or other people would deem them criminals. When this first degree charge or domestic terrorism charge was dropped, now people are feeling like because this is a progressive state and this is maybe a progressive judge, then Luigi Mangione might even not even serve that life sentence that the prosecution is going after. We might not be surprised when lesser or life sentence is given to this guy. This Luigi Mangione case to me is just expressing how there's gonna be a change, especially to the healthcare system or to the health insurance thing. I really do feel that insurance companies are gonna have to take in consideration the claims that the clients are presenting and weighing out factors, not just outrightly denying claims that are being presented, but looking into the matter and see if these claims can be paid for and just having their services even better for the fear of what has happened to the CEO. Society is celebrating some of these things when people are not agreeing with each other's opinion and others taking out people because of their opinions and other people celebrating for that. Obviously they have to change how they operate in order to prevent such events taking place in the future. They have to be careful, but this is gonna change the health insurance or even the healthcare landscape for the coming future. Are they supposed to wait for something like this to happen so that maybe they can change their systems? I don't think so. But should they change? They should have done this from the word go. It's at this point that I need you guys to share your opinions about what you think about the event that just happened, the Luigi Mangione, and what do you think going forward is gonna happen to this guy? Do you think the healthcare system is gonna change? And do you think America is gonna revise its moral standards once again? Anyways, guys, if you also do disagree with me publicly, just do so respectfully in the comment section down there below. All your thoughts would be really insightful and you'll give a different meaning or a new meaning to this video. Also, don't forget to go and check the speakers that are featured in these videos today. If you've noticed, their usernames have been embedded in the staged videos. As always, go on to their TikToks, like, follow. For this channel, make sure you smash a huge thumbs up button, consider subscribing, turn on post notifications so that you may not miss my next upload. And with that, guys, let me meet you in the next one. Peace.